Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is I Kissed a Fraud episode 3. So if you guys haven't already watched episode 2, episode 1, the welcome back video, then again, definitely check those videos out first, because then you'll have some understanding of like everything that I'm talking about. And you definitely don't want to join a story right in the middle, right? Because you don't understand what's happening. So pause, go watch those videos, and then come back. I'll be here. I'll be still here. So the recap from episode 2 was me discussing what happened in June 2020 and July 2020 over the course of my marriage, the separation time, all of that. So where I'm picking up today is on August 2020, specifically August 2nd, 2020, because that is the day that I found out pretty much everything. Like, I had found out everything, but also confirmation of what I already knew. So like I told you guys, I had already started to see that there was this white car that would be parked in his parking spot. And by this time, I think I had already ran my phone records. And so I started to look up numbers, and there's a way online where you can look up numbers and it'll give you their address, it'll give you their name, it'll give you everything. And so basically I had found out that this particular person was a co-worker of his. And so the person was a co-worker. He was talking to other people. Like, there was even somebody he was talking to that was on our same street. So he literally just had no type of nothing, like morals, integrity, whatever you want to call it. Like, he didn't have it. And so yeah, essentially I had already had phone numbers, I had addresses, I had everything. And so I would just kind of keep that information to myself. I think I might have told like my friend, maybe one of my BFFs, but other than that, no one else knew like I had this information. So there essentially came a moment when she was here, her car was here at least, and I knew that they both were here, and that I could have easily like walked in and been like, what are you doing and what's happening? But for me, like, I didn't need to do that, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because it was like, what would have been the purpose? Like, how would that have served me? I had already decided to end the marriage. I had already decided to I hadn't even filed for divorce yet, but I knew like we're in the process of ending the marriage. So what really would that have done for me? So like I had told you guys, I did go ahead and run like phone statements, bank statements, like bill statements. Like, I had started to just run stuff because I was like, stuff is not adding up, and for me, I need to see it on paper to like make it make sense for me. And so I remember getting, I think it was my car insurance billing statement. And so we both had our names on the account because he has his car, I have my car. But I would usually give him my portion for my car every month, right? So when I look at the billing statements, our car insurance had lapsed pretty much every single month. Every single month he had lapsed our car insurance, and I had no clue. But yet I was giving him my money for my part of my car insurance. And so it was interesting because I had bought a brand new car right at the end of 2019. I got a brand new 2020 car, and I saw that I didn't have insurance days before getting a brand new car. Crazy. And so yeah, and in that time he had also like, he had got into an accident, and he had like a major accident on his car. And I remember he gave me some BS story about the insurance and and having to pay this, that, and the other. And then it comes to find out he didn't have insurance. We didn't have insurance. Like, y'all, the amount of sorrow, I think that's the only word that I can really call it, was sorrow to know like, this is supposed to be my husband. This is supposed to be the man that covers me and protects me and provides and all of these things that you hear, but yet he's not doing any of these things. And he was actually putting me in a horrible position. And for me, reading the stuff that I read, I realized like he was a liability and I'm an asset, and therefore we got to get a divorce. There's no other question. Even if I had some type of hope or anything that maybe we no. And I'm proud of myself, and I will tell you guys, I'm still so proud of myself that I made the decision to move forward with getting a divorce. Although I hadn't filed the paperwork yet, I'm glad that I made that decision prior to knowing all of this information that I'm finding out, because I didn't find this stuff out until after I had already made the decision. But I feel like subconsciously I knew. I didn't have the facts. I didn't have, like, you know, a car or a woman to like pinpoint, but I knew subconsciously, like, this isn't how a marriage should feel. This isn't how I should feel, and therefore I went out. So for me, the thing that I just cared about the most was my phone bill. I had my own phone bill from the time I was like 18, 19, something like that. And I can't remember why he asked to get on my phone line. Like, I don't know if it was after we got married or before we got married, but I got him on my phone line, and then he then asked for both of his daughters to get on the phone line. So he essentially had 3 phones, and so that's what we were paying for. But I was still only paying for my phone. He would pay for him and their phones. So that meant that our bill was around $500. And so at the time, again, with him letting things lapse over, the bill went from $500 to $1,000. And then in order for me to cut their phones off, it was going to cost like another $1,500. So for me, I didn't have the time to be emotional and just flip out and cuss him out and do all that other stuff when I had to be logical. Okay, if that makes sense. I had to play this smart, because at the end of the day, I understand why people stay in miserable marriages for so long, because sometimes they don't have the means to get out. And that's just being real. When you wonder, like, how did they stay? Was it for the kids or whatever? Like, no, sometimes people didn't have anywhere to go. And so I thank God that he put me in a position, especially during COVID, to get out and to save and to really get my finances in order. Because the moment that he was no longer like in my life, or, you know, trying to control the finances, my money flourished. So basically, I want to say I played it cool for probably from the moment that he left the household, July 2nd, and then August 2nd, when I found out all of this other stuff, even until I filed for divorce, because I wanted to see if he was going to be a man and actually honor his responsibilities and paying the things that he was supposed to. Some of the stuff he paid, some of the stuff he didn't. So during that time, I decided to talk to a divorce attorney. And so thankfully, I have amazing friends that just know everybody, you know? And so the divorce attorney that I was recommended was a Black woman. Like, come through Black women, you know? Like, they have truly gotten me through during this time. Not all of them have been Black, but like just women in general, Black women, so grateful for them. But this particular attorney, I had found out that she was married to, I think, a doctor, and I think they had kids. I'm not really sure, but basically she found out he was cheating their whole marriage. And so I don't know if that's what led her into, you know, being a divorce attorney. I don't know that part, but I knew that part of the story. And so basically I had asked for a consultation. And so thankfully, again, because of COVID, I guess her normal rate for a consultation, like if you go sit in person, it was like $500 or something. But if I did one over the phone, it was free. So I'll take the free 99. So I had a conversation with her, and I don't even remember how long we talked on the phone. Maybe 30 minutes or more. And I remember giving her just a little bit of the story and a little bit of what I had found out. And so basically I found out, since California is a no-fault state, basically she told me he could sleep with the whole cheerleading squad or whatever, and California doesn't care because they're no-fault state. You would just cite irreconcilable differences and move on, essentially. So from what I gave her, she was like, I think that you can do this on your own. I feel like you don't need a divorce attorney. You can get this paperwork and everything done and you should be fine. And so I guess that's what I needed. Someone that, one, has been in this predicament before, but then two, someone that is in that profession that can give me like guidance on where to go from here. So basically that's when I found out about a summary dissolution versus a dissolution of marriage. And so a summary dissolution is if you've been married for less than 5 years, you can do all the paperwork process, but you don't have to go to court or anything. If you guys are agreeing to the terms of your divorce, and there's like no alimony or anything included, you don't have kids, all of that, you can just basically do the paperwork process, right? But if you're past 5 years, or you have so much property, or you want alimony or anything else, then you have to do the regular dissolution of marriage. And so because we were just shy of 5 years, we could have done the summary dissolution part. So I send him the paperwork. I'm like, hey, this is the information I need back. Can you send this stuff? And he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. And like days will go by and he just wouldn't give me any information. And so I quickly kind of realized like he is not going to do the process that we need for the summary dissolution. So more than likely I'm going to have to actually file for divorce. So basically that's what I did. On August 17, 2020, I filed for divorce. And so I'm so grateful that during that time my mother is the one that really assisted in like helping me get like the correct paperwork together, and sometimes she was the one that was typing it up, because it's like it's such an emotionally draining process that like I could have and probably would have messed something up, because I was just so emotional during that time and just depressed and grieving and stuff like that. And so I'm really grateful for my mom, especially during that time. And so when I went to go file for the divorce, they don't tell you that. I think to get a marriage certificate, a marriage license, it's probably like, I think it was like $90 or something like that. But to get a divorce, child, you pay $435 in the state of California. And so thankfully I had the money to do that, right? I was like, look, for peace of mind, I will pay $435, right? So I go in and I file the papers and I pay the $435. And let me just tell you how good God is. Like, even though I tell you guys this story, and I know it's like, it's heartbreaking to hear for some people, especially if you know me, to know like that I just went through all of this. But I tell you, God was with me the whole time. Even during the marriage when I'm just like, how could this happen and how could that happen? I honestly can look back and see how God covered me during these moments, because like, man, nobody but God. But I say this, when I got home, I think I had text my aunt and I was like, hey, just letting you know, like I filed for divorce, right? And what was interesting, I think, with my aunt is that we had a conversation and she tried to encourage me to like stay in my marriage, but I knew like she didn't know the full scope of what's going on. So I'm grateful that once she found out some of the things that I had endured, or, you know, even the things that I was finding out, she definitely was on board. And so that same day, the day that I filed for divorce, she was like, hey, like God just put it on my heart to bless you, like, you know, can you come over to my house and I want to bless you or whatever, right? So then I was just like, oh, you know, okay, thank you, whatever. So I remember I went over to her house probably, I think that next day, and I think she originally gave me a check for, I want to say it was like $250 or something like that. And so yeah, she gave me a check for $250, and like I was grateful. Like she didn't have to do that. So I was like, I'm so thankful, you know, thank you so much, right? And so as I'm telling her about my experience the day before when, you know, I filed for divorce, and I'm like, yeah, you know, it cost $435 and I'm just so glad that I had it. And she was like, $435? And I was like, yeah. And she didn't know that getting a divorce cost that much. And so I remember her getting up, she went into her like office or whatever, and she comes back and she's writing something, I don't think too much of it. And so then she rips off another check and she goes, she was like, I'm sure your grandfather also supports you, so like this is from us. And I think she handed me another check for like $250, I think it was like $255 or something like that. So essentially I got back how much money I just spent on filing for a divorce plus more within 24 hours. Can't tell me that God isn't good. Can't tell me that God isn't good. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to fit in the clip of when I filed for divorce, because at the time, this is when I was not on social media, and not too many people really knew what I was doing. But I did film a video because I wanted to look back and see just how far I came from that moment of feeling broken, but in some ways optimistic. Like, if I file for divorce, eventually it'll be finalized and eventually I'll get to the other side. I don't know how I'm gonna do it right now. And I know I'm going to have to cry and to go through all these range of emotions, but I will get there one day. And so, again, if I'm able to put the videos in, I will definitely include them in this video. Hey guys, so it has been quite some time since your girl has like talked on camera, Snapchat. I'm not really posting this. This is more of like a diary, journal, or whatever. But today is August 17th, 2020, and your girl filed for divorce today. And I couldn't be more happy. I couldn't be more proud of myself. I'm feeling a little, you know, crappy, you know, but I don't know if it's because of stress or what. But the fact that I actually filed today, I feel relieved. At this point, I haven't been on social media. It's been over a month. So it's been over a month that I haven't been on social media, and I'm just trying to process everything, and I'm glad to be at this spot right now. So yeah, basically I was saying I'm glad to be in this spot that I'm in right now. I'm coming to you guys without a filter, so you guys get to see my skin. I've lost some weight. But yeah, it's just been a for real 40 days of being in the wilderness. The most clarity that I've received in over 5 years at this point. And just a little bit of tea. The crazy thing is my husband, y'all. My husband is currently in Vegas right now with his new chick. And today is her birthday. And yeah, it's a weird thing. He's on a family trip, but he's still married. And we haven't signed papers or gotten a divorce or nothing. But I filed today, okay? So I'm proud of myself. And that's why I'm posting it, so I can remember how proud of myself I am. So I think that's a good spot to introduce the hussy and the fraud, because I had actually spoke to her on the phone prior to me filing for divorce, prior to them going to Vegas and him proposing to her. I had a woman-to-woman conversation, and y'all, you just gotta stay tuned, because I'm still in shock of how that conversation went, because like I kept it together, but child, it was a whole hot mess. So yes, that's basically where the next video will take place. I'll tell you guys all about how I filed for divorce and serve them when they return back from Vegas. And so I hope to see you guys in my next video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.